Back now at 7:30 on CBS Mornings, and as we prepare to mark the anniversary of the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol, we are hearing for the first time from a top intelligence official in the Capitol Police. 3 days before the attack, she wrote an intelligence assessment sounding the alarm about potential violence at the Capitol, much of which actually came to pass. So why were her warnings not acted upon? Chris Van Cleve is on Capitol Hill with an interview you will only see on CBS Mornings, and it's a good one. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning. Julie Farnam had been on the job just 72 days when rioters stormed the Capitol on January 6th, but it was this report she gave to Capitol Police leadership 3 days earlier on January 3rd that's become a glaring example of intelligence slipping through the cracks. Do you feel that you and your team bear responsibility for what happened on the 6th?
No, I don't. I think we provided the information. I think we did an excellent job.
Julie Farnam is the acting intelligence director for the Capitol Police. For weeks leading up to January 6th, she says her team had been gathering intelligence indicating violence was likely.
We knew there were going to be thousands of protesters, and we knew there were going to be extremists there, and I knew things were not going to be good that day.
CBS News obtained her final intelligence assessment dated January 3rd. Bottom line, it read, protesters plan to be armed. Then there's this on page 13, her team's overall analysis, which raised concerns about permits given to groups affiliated with Stop the Steal, known to attract white supremacists and militia members who actively promote violence. It warned Trump supporters see January 6th as the last opportunity to overturn the results of the presidential election. This sense of desperation and disappointment may lead to more of an incentive to become violent. And unlike previous protests, Congress itself is the target on the 6th.
There was no other agency in the federal government except the Capitol Police that wrote a comprehensive assessment and report that outlined the violence that was expected that day.
How do you justify the performance to some of the folks that look at the end result on January 6th, which was an utter failure?
I think in some regards on January 6th, our intelligence division was an island. We bear some responsibility for that.
So the warnings were there, they just didn't get where they needed to go at the end of the day.
That's my understanding. Once I sent it up to my leadership, I didn't have control over where it went.
Last February, Congress asked Yogananda Pittman, who became acting chief after the insurrection, about the January 3rd assessment.
Although we knew the likelihood for violence by extremists, no credible threat indicated that tens of thousands would attack the U.S. Capitol.
Pittman is now back in the job she held on January 6th, overseeing all intelligence operations for the Capitol Police, including Julie Farnam's team.
I think that there will be people that see this interview and wonder, should anyone who was involved with intelligence before January 6th still be involved with intelligence after January 6th?
I can't speak to the personnel issues.
Should you still be running the team?
Yes, I should be, because I largely wrote that assessment, and I'm the one who has been working tirelessly every single day since I've come on board to right this ship.
The department declined to make Pittman available for an interview. Current Chief Tom Manger took over the force in July.
Why wasn't that intelligence acted on?
I can't answer that question because I was not here on January 3rd nor January 6th, but I can tell you this, that the way intelligence was shared, the way it was disseminated, needed vast improvement. And so today, that kind of intelligence would be acted on. We're in a posture now where we're not taking any chances.
What responsibility does the department bear for what happened that day?
I think that overall the department bears the majority of the responsibility. I mean, the organization let the men and women of this police department down.
They had the intelligence was right, but the leadership, I think, failed the rank and file members, and they failed Congress.
Congressman Tim Ryan chairs the committee overseeing the Capitol Police.
Do you feel like the department has made the necessary changes to prevent a repeat of that day?
I'm not concerned that there's going to be another insurrection at the Capitol. We've taken some positive steps in the right direction, but there's a hell of a long way for us to go.
Over the last year, the department has opened its first ever field offices. The intelligence unit has doubled in size and improved the training of its analysts in an effort to ensure something like the 6th never happens again.
Is it hard for an intel person who's delivered a report, much of it came to fruition, to then see the result on January 6th?
Of course it is. I mean, that was a difficult day. To see what happened, I was listening to the police radio when that was happening, and to hear the officers' screams. and everything that happened that day. It's very difficult.
Chief Manger is set to testify for the first time before Congress. He will tell the Senate Rules Committee that January 6th exposed key deficiencies in the Capitol Police in operational planning, staffing, equipment, and, of course, intelligence. He will lay out the ongoing efforts to fix those deficiencies. Nate?
Chris, thank you. What we do know is the information was shared, just wasn't spread properly and then passed up to the
We
proper
also know that
channels.
none of this undermines the heroism of the Capitol Police rank and file who were there trying to defend the building with the resources that they were provided.
It's so frustrating to hear that they had access to the information. It wasn't acted upon. I can only imagine how frustrated she is. And it gets to me, too, when you see that police officer screaming the way he was screaming.
Right.
But you would think it's not possible what happened at the Capitol that it happened. When I look at the video, I still can't believe what I'm watching.
As
a year
country,
later.
we are better than this.
Yes, it's Americans against Americans.
It does beg
that
the
will always,
imagination.
yes.
It does.
Like you said, Tony, in hopes that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
That's for sure.